Welcome to the 7th Siege breakdown, Siege analysis that we're going to be doing inside Raid Shadow Legends. I am quite excited to go over this one. It's a bit of a blowout result so far. Again, my clan seems to be doing very, very well inside the Siege game mode, so certainly no complaints from me. Quick thing I want to mention as well, I am 15 fragments away from Embrys, so I am incredibly close to getting him, and I am at most either going to finish Carnage this rotation, or at the very least next rotation of the City of Centranos as well, which is pretty exciting stuff. So two very, very powerful mythicals coming to my account before long here. Very excited to showcase them, and that's important because inside Siege, even still, we're seeing a lot of Stone Skin. And it's very important to have a way to counter Stone Skin, and being able to remove that 50-50 BS that you have with, you know, any sort of strip champion or something like that is going to be so incredibly strong. So I'm excited to get Embrys for obvious reasons. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this. As you can see, there's still 11 hours remaining in the siege. However, they have not beaten our stronghold yet. As a matter of fact, they have not even gotten to the stronghold. And that's not for lack of trying, it doesn't look like. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the defenses and everything like that here soon enough. And then, of course, if things change drastically, I'll go ahead and share a screenshot for you, as always, on the community tab of YouTube. Now, on my last Siege analysis, there were some people that got upsetty spaghetti inside the comments because I said that it wasn't a fair match and they got blown out and all those sorts of things, which was true, but it's never meant to be a criticism of the players or the clans themselves, but more so just you know, a reflection on the matchmaking and how it can sometimes be a letdown, right? So, for example, a lot of the higher tier clans out there, not, you know, going to throw out any names or anything like that, but I'm sure we all know who we're talking about, they essentially just intentionally throw matches in some cases to face easier opponents in the next fight and then absolutely blow them out of the water. I have personally always been a fan of the whole idea of try your best, and if you lose, at least you went out fighting, right? I don't like to sit here and throw and say, oh, well, you know, you get an easier match next time, because the way I see it, if we're supposed to lose, and if we're supposed to get easier matches next time, we will, right? And that's how a good matchmaking system should work. But inside Raid, at least, it doesn't seem like that's necessarily always the case. So there are certainly some mix-up with the matchmaking, which is what I was referencing in the previous video. But it got some people a little upset. So just wanted to bring that out. It is what it is, right? It's the internet. Somebody's always going to get butthurt about something regardless of how you put it. You can't really walk on eggshells all the time. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at this siege here, though. So with this particular siege, we have defeated their stronghold. Now, from what I can see, and I did look through this a little bit before starting the recording here, there wasn't too many defenses that really held incredibly strong. So, so far there's only one that was two. There's a couple in here. So we'll go ahead, we'll take a look, and we'll showcase these a little bit for the ones that did hold our offenders a little bit more. And I'll go ahead and move myself over just so you can get a better view of the defenses there. So Johnny Cage here coming in with a Marius, Noelle, Queen of Hearts, and Freya, which is very strong. We had Mario try to take him down a few times there with a few different teams. I don't know. I'm assuming Mario does not have Taurus, because if he had Taurus, this would have been just an easy victory. It would have been all over. And then, of course, we had Lemon come in and take him out there with little Masu, the Commodus, Galathier, and Armand's a very free-to-play friendly team, of course, right? The other team here did lose. I forget the name of that champion, but yeah, when you're going against, you know, very, very tanky options like this, you need some way to get through that. Generally, it's going to be, you know, some sort of a sustained DPS, like a Taurus is very good in that role. A Marius on your team or a Harima on your team are very good sustained DPS going into fights like this. Or you just need somebody that can say, hey, buddy, screw you. I'm going to put bombs on you. I'm going to put stone skin, or I'm going to put burn on you in the case of somebody like a... Oh, God, who's the Ogren Tribe's mythical? I forgot his name. The guy that, like, basically places the burns and then detonates them and all those sorts of good things. You guys know who I'm talking about, I'm sure. But we're going to go over to the Ogren Tribes and take a look here. And that's Skinwalkers. Today is not my day, apparently. I recorded the Kale video right before this that you'll see going live after this, because this is going to go live first. Gizmac, by the way, is the guy. But yeah, I was making a lot of gaffes in that. I kind of felt like Joe Biden with my speech pattern. So it is what it is, I suppose. But I made the fun little blunder of coming over here to post 5 because I was at work at the time that I made this attack, and I seen that they were getting absolutely steamrolled, and I felt a lot of pressure to make an attack to make sure I could get some rewards, because I made a little fuck up, and I didn't place a defensive team this time, so if I didn't get an attack in, I wouldn't have gotten anything out of this, which meant that I felt like I was in a bit of a rush because we were just clearing the board so far. And I lost twice to Hatsut. So I thought I'd be faster. I tried a couple of different team compositions here, so I had my Yoshi the Drunkard, and then I had my Senna in the lead. Both times we got outsped by the Yumiko, and she just locked me out, which certainly made it a little bit tough. In the second fight, we definitely had a bit more of a run for it, though, because in the first fight, the Yoshi just died straight off. But yeah, I didn't have enough tankiness or anything to be able to get through this fight, so hats off to Hatsut. This is a pretty good defensive team. As you can see here from the... once it loads, I don't know what the raid servers are doing these days, but when it does finally load, you can see that essentially it's only champions from a certain faction, or unity, rather. Any day now, that would be fantastic. This is a multi-billion-dollar earning game, by the way, that is heavily based around PvP, by the way. You love it sometimes, right? You love it. I may have to launch the game here. I think that's probably going to be the best bet, honestly. Let me just, let me relaunch the game real quick here. Game didn't go into a state of not responding, by the way, so it's not like that was the issue. I didn't lose connection on anything else. It was simply just Raid deciding, hey, screw you, the servers are going to go down right now for some reason. But what do you do, right? Trying to make content. Game just decides to shut down. Not much I can do about that. I have the game open again, and it should pop up on my screen soon enough. It's not happening yet, though. Let's see what's going on with that then, shall we? Raid Shadow Legends. Yeah. Where are we at here? Come on. Capture's not working. What is going on here? Oh, there it is. Perfect. Alright, we're back. Forgive the hiccup there. So yeah, we were talking about I didn't place a defense. We went through and kind of cleaned house. We're going to just take a look at these defenses. I'm not really too interested in showcasing stuff that, you know, got beaten in 1 or 2 attacks, because that's not really exciting for anyone. This one did hold pretty strong, though. We had a Galathier in the lead with a Lysandra into a Tatura into a Skaramis, which is an interesting team. Mr. MB Leak tried to take them out there twice and unfortunately was bested. And Robocobs came in and took them out afterward with a bit of a speed team there as well. This one obviously was only high elves, so when you get these really restrictive posts and towers and whatnot, it can certainly make it a bit tougher to try and get through it. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these teams here. Nothing too crazy. They're all beaten in 1 or 2. 1 or 2 is kind of like the general where you would expect a team to be beaten, because you kind of have that first initial wave where it's like, hey, what is this team going to do? And then you go in and use your rebattle and you beat them no problem, right? In a lot of cases. And that's what I thought was going to happen with that team that I attacked on the flank, but alas, it did not. So let's go ahead and take a look through here. We had Nick come in, go against the Fabian, Freya, Odin, and Taurus team, which is pretty nasty. Looks like he tried to bomb them down initially, which didn't work. Then tried to use a Teox team, which also didn't work. And then brought in Ragash for the finishing touches, actually. That's one of the first times I've seen Ragash inside a Siege analysis, so that's pretty cool. We have a bomb team here going against a Carnage with a 6-star Sheep Awakened Armands, which is pretty nasty, so obviously that team would hold strong. And then we have Hatsut down here with another amazing defense, apparently, where some people were struggling to take him out. So that's pretty cool. That's basically what we got going on for the defense there so far. I still have 1 attack that I'm probably going to get in by the time this video is over. I used another one of my attacks over here to take out Rimbaud on defense tower 5, so you can kind of see that how that went. I used Marichka in the lead. Then I had Fabian, Marius, and Taurus to go along with it. They had a pretty fast Arbice, so she went first, but I do have my Fabian inside Supersonic Stoneskin, so he was actually able to cut in after, which was pretty cool. Supersonic, I'm going to keep singing the praises of that gear set. Now, let's go ahead and let's do our attack here. I was scoping out this team inside Magic Tower 4. I think this will be a decent way to go. So what we're going to do here is we're going to obviously bring Marichka. I'm not too incredibly focused on making these free-to-play friendly, accessible teams, because obviously you can kind of just use what's available at your level, right? So if you don't have this team composition, it is what it is. Now, the thing I'm concerned about is that if the Crixia is faster, we're not really going to be able to reset our champions or anything like that. So, in all honesty, instead of Marius, I may want to bring Crixia. However, I think my Marius is going to do a very good job countering their Crixia, and then the combination of both, you know, Taurus and Marichka are going to allow me to counter their Marius as well as their Crixia pretty effectively, I think. So even if I lose this, though, I do still have a rebattle left. And we are actually faster anyways. They're pretty slow, apparently. So we're just going to go ahead, get the lockout, no problem. And then we do have... Let's place the Petrification on the Senna, because why not? We do get locked out by the Crixia, oddly enough, even though I could have swore it said that we locked her out, but... maybe I'm mistaken. We'll get the AoE there with the Marius. We get the decreased cooldown on him, which is quite strong as well. We'll go ahead and try to steal some turn meter there from the Senna. Should go without saying, obviously, but you don't want to try and steal turn meter from the Marius. That would not go too well. Marius does get an instant turn here because of the Taurus Smack, but then he AoEs us and just dies. So that was pretty exciting stuff. And there we go. We take them out pretty easily. So we have the team down in Magic Tower 4. We've unlocked the next defense there, which hopefully somebody from my clan can take out. Now let's go ahead and let's take a look at the defense here. So obviously, as I mentioned, I didn't set a defense, and I usually set a defense over here in either Magic Tower or in Post 12, which is the way they pushed. So it would have been very nice if I was able to set the defense this time, but it was no one's fault but my own, essentially. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So the defense team over here, most of these didn't hold incredibly strong. Like, they were beaten first try. We have some over here that they were all beaten first try, right? So generally, we don't have very strong defenses inside the outposts like this, because it's just kind of, you know, what is the point, right? It's just a post, and then sometimes we'll have important posts, like, you know, this post here, that just have a far better defense in them. So as you can see, Dark Reign here is just stacking up defensive victories with his Commodus, Sifi, Fabian, and Georgid combination. They're having a bit of trouble taking it out. It would appear somebody in the chat just gave a reminder that we have Chimera keys to get in as well. Is Chimera resetting today? I think it probably is. Yeah, it is. We're in position 3 right now, and I haven't put in either of my Chimera keys, so I'll have to make sure to do that. But that being said, even inside the... oh, we're back on the attack side. So, yeah, we have that defense there that's holding incredibly strong, and then we just don't have any other attacks on, like, the defense towers or anything like that happening quite yet. So, I don't really foresee this battle phase going a whole lot different, but again, I could be wrong. If I am wrong, and if they end up taking out our stronghold or something like that, I'll share screenshots. I like to share screenshots of, like, the gear drops and everything like that I get anyways, so make sure to check the community tab for that. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If there is anything else you'd like to see inside these breakdowns, definitely make sure to let me know down in the comments, or you can feel free to join the Discord, which is linked down in my description as well. I'll see you guys next time.